Hello and welcome from the Pink Seats Podcast, the internet's first and greatest podcast dedicated exclusively to the University of Louisville football program here on the State of Louisville Podcast Network. If you aren't already, hop on over to the State of Louisville YouTube page, hit that subscribe button. It's right there. Do it. Because when you do, you get to hop into these live shows and you get to join the chat, aka the Pink Seats Party Deck, where we got people hopping in early. One of our regulars, Antipas, he wants to rage. We might get a little rage going. I said I can't promise that we'll crash out on stream, but if you all want to crash out in the comments, and if one's particularly funny or enjoyable, I will be happy to throw that bad boy up there. Of course, joining me as always, Vince Lococo here in the Digital Kearns Corner studio. And that was about the last good thing that happened last week, man. I got over to Kearns, got some of that clam chowder for lunch. It's fantastic. I was a little tubby. I got a little side thing of chowder. I also got a burger.
There you go.
Oh, I decided I didn't do patty melt this week. I just did the burger as is. So good. So good.
That's an elite combo. But yeah, definitely. If I should have joined you on Friday, honestly, because that's about the only good thing. I mean, Trinity lost, Yankees lost. Yankees suck now. I mean, I don't know we're just wasting Aaron Judge's career away. Louisville lost. My UFC bets hit. That was positive. That was nice. And then, Sunday came and Dolphins said, "Not so fast, my friend. I'm going to screw you even more." I mean, yeah.
Tough weekend for you boys.
In crumbles right now.
It was a tough weekend for you boys. So let's go ahead and let's dive into it. Now, I will say, if you wanted to see some crash outs before we dive too much into the show, head on over to the 1912 Society Discord. We've got boards for every major sport up. And of course, on game days, those football game day boards are popping. And oh my God, there was some phenomenal commentary, just some fun little quips and barbs being exchanged. It's stretched all
Places
throughout
like
the course of the weekend. It is wild in there. It's like your funniest and most favorite message boards come to life in an easy to access app form, free to join. Got boards for just about every University of Louisville sport that the school offers. You'll catch me in that track and field board come this a little bit later in the year once indoor season starts wrapping up. You best believe I'll be in there talking throws. And they've got.
Have I told you the one time I tried to throw a shot put?
Oh, no, you haven't told that story.
I picked it up and immediately tried throwing it like a baseball, thinking,
oh, no. That's how I tore my elbow.
Yeah. My arm almost ripped off. Thank God I was still like 12 and your body bends weird. And,
Oh, so you're basically a superhero.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. And yeah, if you're here, and for those of us who are watching us on Twitter, don't want to make the journey over to YouTube, be sure to drop a follow at State of Lou, at Pink Seats Pod, at producer_Keith, at Vincent Lococo. But if you do hop over to the YouTube, that'd be pretty cool too. You can hop in, send us comments, questions, funny little barbs, making fun of when we say things like do. That's just always my personal favorite to go to. And if we find ones that catch us during the show, we'll be sure to throw them up, give you some credit, and help steer the conversation along, especially on days like this when we don't really want to be too mean, I guess let's say, after the game. So before we dive into Louisville, let's just talk a little bit about what happened in the ACC. Miami, our next opponent, continues to look like an insurmountable giant as they just completely let off the gas in the fourth quarter and still coasted to a 28-22 win. I don't know if you had eyes on that game. Final score makes it seem like it was close. Yeah, final score makes it look like it was close. It was not close. That Miami is one of probably three teams that I could say realistically could win the national title this year after just watching them play 5 or 6 games. It's like them, Ohio State, and maybe Oregon have impressed me enough to think that they can actually do it.
The Carson Beck effect.
Dude, we might have gotten lucky, man. Pittsburgh. They put in that freshman Mason Heitschel, and they smacked Boston College 48-7. Like,
Now,
just
did they bench what's his name who we played?
Yeah,
They just straight up benched him. Wow.
Straight up benched Holstein. And yeah, true freshman comes in and just lights it up. Amazing what a true freshman can do if given an opportunity to play in a game, huh?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You know what else was amazing? The feeling you get after hitting your slump buster. So I'm kind of worried about Clemson because they got to run into Bill Belichick, which I don't know if you saw. Did you see any of the footage of the sad 10 a.m. Ludacris concert that UNC had?
No, but that's definitely on par for Bill Belichick and them to have, of all people, Ludacris.
Yeah, apparently they scheduled it in the off season, thinking that this game was going to be a high profile marquee matchup. They suck an egg. Clemson's flopped out of the gate, so they got relegated to a neuter. So Luda's out there playing at 10 a.m.
Oh, man. I bet he was pissed. I don't know. He might have been happy so he could just get in there, get it out of the way, and get out.
The only other thing from this game that cracked me up, that just cold, like coming in cold from a commercial break, they're just showing this video of this North Carolina student. And it's like unprompted, like not set up or anything. And it's just this girl talking about how, yeah, I was at that TCU game, and yeah, that second half was probably the saddest I've ever been on campus, and I failed midterms. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They're just
I failed my midterms, and that's the saddest?
Bill Belichick might not even make it a year, man.
Oh, man. Does he walk away, or do they fire him?
Oh, you best believe he's going to make them fire him so you can get that payday.
Yeah.
And, like, it's one of those where I don't feel bad for Bubba Cunningham because he shoehorned his team into the NCAA tournament in basketball. But, you know, this wasn't his call. Like, this was boosters going over his head saying, we bought Bill Belichick. Oh, God, he's terrible.
Yeah, it's just stupid. Stupid.
Yeah, everything else around the league was pretty much chalk. Wake Forest finally got a dub over a Virginia Tech team that fired their coach. NC State beat Campbell. SMU put a beat down on Syracuse, who's without Steve Angeli. And then, like we talked about, Duke came back and put a drumming on Cal. And that was the ACC action. So I guess, with all that being said, let's do it. Let's dive into the toxic cesspool of the Virginia game.
Yep.
First reactions, pregame vibes. I mean, we talked about it. We knew they were going to have a good offense coming in. We thought the defense was beatable. They were a top 25 team. The weather, while it was a little warm for my taste, but still gorgeous day.
Dude, I was dying walking around with the Surfside cooler. I was dying for a second there. When we were walking around shooting sim on the street, I had a Surfside cooler, about 60 to 100 drinks, and although it was getting lighter, the first track was pretty rough.
Yeah, I'm really happy I had my sister and niece with me and couldn't make it over for that one because I would have been relegated to pack mule. Parking lots, I got there about 4:15 before the game. Parking lots were bumping. I was pleasantly surprised with the tailgate scene. Like, the diehards were out there early. There were a lot of them out there. I thought it was going to be a really big crowd. And then we ended up only getting like 50K. Like that.
Yeah.
I kind of surprised and disappointed me. Like, I'm not going to be one of these people out here like screaming, "What's wrong with you? Why aren't you coming to the..." But like, come on, guys. It was a great
Virginia's
day.
Not really,
top 25
I
team.
get that. Virginia's just not the team that makes Clemson, Miami, those Florida State. Those are the Virginia's not. I mean, although
I
get
get that.
Not a very sexy name.
I get that, but at the same time, like, I take in a lot of content. Basically, every studio program and every podcast in the area was talking about, oh, this is a big game. You should get out there. Like, but I get it. Not a sexy brand name. The people who were there, though, were very loud. We still had our usual... Pardon me. We still had our usual X amount of thousands up on the flight or on the party deck. Whatever. the people who were there were loud. And because it was such a close game, most people stayed through overtime. And like, they did a really good job. They made an impact. Virginia had trouble communicating on a couple of downs, had to take timeouts. Like, while it may not have been a 60,000 person attended game, the crowd that was there brought it. And I thought it was a pretty, I'm not going to say impressive because you want to see more people out there, but I was happy with the ones that did show.
I thought, I mean, once the game got going, yes, Keith, I agree with you for sure. But once the game got going, it was definitely one of the more frustrating as a collective crowds, you know, like just hearing out loud people verbally being frustrated with this team and the outcome and what all's going on. I mean, it's just everybody kind of being in unison. It was wild.
Yeah, it's the first time since Satterfield where I've really heard the boo birds out. That kind of,
yeah.
I'm not going to say surprised me based on what was going on the field, but still, it's just like,
I wasn't surprised either. Yeah.
Still, it's kind of surreal to actually hear it. It was something that you didn't think was ever going to take place in this era of football, and yet here it is, man. Boo birds out in full force, and that's tough.
Our fans know where the standard of Louisville football is, and we're just not playing up to that standard. Jeff knows it. That whole staff knows it. All those players know that they're not playing up to the standard for sure. It's a collective frustration, and the fans are very much entitled to voice their frustrations.
Yeah, with the rising costs of tickets, with the rising cost of everything nowadays, like, you best believe fans are going to let their voices be heard in any way they can, and they deserve to. So, anything outside of the actual game itself you wanted to talk about before we dive into the high-level conversation topics? Or
nothing for me. It was great seeing everybody while we were walking around with the Surfside stuff. Definitely going to be doing that throughout the rest of the games throughout the year. So make sure you guys grab us, see us. You're going to have to hop in a video with BSM, but enjoy it.
Yeah, I guess the only other comment I'll have is it's really a bummer that game went the way it did, because while it wasn't a huge crowd, there was definitely a lot of people who were there who maybe it was their first time going out to a Louisville game in a while. Maybe they were the type who enjoyed it more on TV and they finally decided to give in person a chance. And it would have really been a great opportunity to go out, capitalize, get a win and make an impact on a lot of new fans. Maybe you get some more people in the door for the remainder of the year. And instead, we still have a Friday night game against a big brand like Clemson. I assume that one will be well attended, but you don't really have any sexy opponents the rest of the way, so I'm guessing that our 50K attendance numbers are going to start looking a lot more like the Bowling Green 50K and not the Virginia 50K, sadly.
I completely agree with you, Keith. I think especially if stuff starts to go downhill in any shape or fashion, I mean, it's going to start to dwindle quickly.
Yeah. It just sucks to blow an opportunity like that. Like, go get a ranked win in front of a lot of people who normally don't come to games. Give them a great interaction. Even if it's just winning the game in overtime, give them that sort of big impact sort of victory.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But instead, we got a wet fart. So,
yeah, it's frustrating.
So to the game, I put in my notes for just the high-level observations, blind rage. I'm going to try not to do that. If we would have had this podcast Saturday night, it just would have been 30 minutes of me on here.
Oh, yeah, rage quitting. You definitely would have rage quit on Saturday night for sure. Thank God I'm like still semi-football trained, where I just, after losses like that, I just set the old phone down, rage out in person, and don't get back on it for the rest of the evening.
See, I've gotten better about not doing it on Twitter, but boy, to my group text, I'm sorry. Also, one hilarious side note. So, walked with my family back to like the truck, which we got out to the lot quick. We're strided out, folks. I think that was the fastest we got out of a game this season, because I'm a stay till the end every game kind of guy. And because everyone did, I was able to beat out a bunch of traffic where we're out in the green lot. It was great.
Nice.
But I get back and I plug my phone in because it dies during the game. And you would have thought I lost a family member with the amount of text from just friends who aren't Louisville fans. Dude, I just saw the score. I'm so sorry.
It was my phone was definitely blowing up with people texting. I mean, they laid an egg. It's frustrating just getting into the game a little bit, Keith. The end for me in overtime, I'm never a fan of kicking field goals. This goes back to, I mean, I've lost 2 games in my playing career off field goals that I can think of off the top of my head. One in 8th grade, and then one my senior year of high school, where it's just like leaving stuff up to kickers at the end is never great. And I mean, man, you always just want to score in those instances. Just in a lot of ways, you're muted. You're muted. Yeah, in
I
a
was
lot of
just agreeing
ways.
with you.
Yeah, Coach. I mean, Coach Lampley would say that's why I'm not afraid to say this. Coach Lampley would say, you got to drop your nuts in a lot of ways and go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm frustrated with how the overtime went just because, and we'll start with this. The play calling as a whole, especially in specific situations, just was, I'm not going to say bad because it's not like we called a terrible game all around, but just perplexing.
It was definitely perplexing, and I mean, there are some instances where I'm like, where are we even sliding protections to? What are we looking at with the where are we IDing the mic to slide this protection, and are we doing it correctly? And there's a lot of instances where I don't think we even are. I mean, we had one play where we had 4 people over four offensive linemen over 2 guys, and we had a running back and a tackle over 3 guys rushing.
It's incredibly frustrating too because, look, I don't think Jeff all of a sudden forgot how to call games. Maybe this is just me being too harsh on a quarterback, but a 5th-year kid, you should be able to line up your protections.
Oh,
and
yeah.
maybe this is just
him and Pete. Between him and Pete, it's on Pete just as much as it's on Miller Moss to navigate where to send the protection to. I mean,
and not, it's not just about sending protections and aligning. The guys have to execute, and we'll talk about that in the game notes quite a bit, I'm sure. So play calling was just questionable to me. Like, you have the quarterback sneak that had worked fantastically the whole game. Like, it seemed like the only play where the offensive line actually really generated really good push.
Yeah.
There was a stretch in the 3rd quarter. Maybe I'm being a bit unfair, but we're using generalizations at this point. Sneak just seemed to be the one play where we were really firing off the ball and getting after people. We didn't run it on the 4th and 1 on I think it was our first drive of the game. Bit us in the ass. Didn't run it on the 3rd and 2 in overtime. Bit us in the ass. Didn't even try on 4th and 2. So just frustrating play calling. I was going to start with it good, but we'll start with offense. We'll just keep it off.
I don't have much good from. I mean, the defense played fine. I'm not going to sit here and act like the defense played some world beater game when we can't even adjust to the fact that they're running a direct snap to a running back, a play that they ran multiple times in that game. Like, we can't even. And Keith, the quarterback was bailing out before, like, as the ball is being snapped. The quarterback's jumping up and down, waving his hands around. What are we doing?
The other team is trying to, and they've got a hell of a running back on that side of the ball. Like, they held the opposing team to 237 total yards of offense and 10 points in regulation. That should be enough to win in the ACC, regardless of who your opponent is.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the fumble and, what was it, the pick six?
Fumble and the pick six, 14 points right there. So the run defense as a whole for the whole game, even better than I had hoped. Like, I think of Jamari Taylor highly enough to where I thought he wasn't a hope we can stop him guy. I was a hope we can contain him kind of guy. I expected him to go out and crack a $120. We held him to 68 yards. The run defense was busting ass. Pass rush, I didn't get a ton of sacks, but we were generating a ton of pressures. We didn't let Chandler Morris get comfortable, and that caused him to miss a couple of opportunities he had downfield where there were guys that maybe had a step, and if Morris puts a ball on him, it can result in a big play. Pressure got to him, and he missed on a lot of passes that he normally doesn't. Like, I'd say this was probably
he hit. I mean, the touchdown he had going into I don't even know which end zone you would call that, where the United statue is, where it was a cover 3 in our corner. for whatever reason, takes the post that's running across his face, and they run a guy right down that pipe, and he's wide ass open. It's like,
Yeah,
why? What are we doing?
That was the next thing I was going to talk about. Like, there weren't a ton of coverage lapses, but there were more than we would like. Now,
Yeah.
we're a bit of perfectionists, so we get it. We're hard graders, but so is the coaching staff. So it wasn't a perfect game from the DBs, but it was pretty solid. Like, I would say B minus effort from the DBs. And then, like, the only thing on the defense, like, just a couple of the calls. Like, what are we doing running a corner blitz on 3rd and 20? When you have according to advanced analytics, one of, if not the best edge rusher in the country on one side and a menace like Wesley Bailey on the other. Like, trust your D line to get after it. So
yeah. I agree. It's the corner. It just doesn't make sense why you would run that, Keith. I don't get it. I don't have any other answer for you on that one.
But we've harped on the defense plenty, though. The defense deserved a win. I think that's fair to say. Based on their performance, they deserved a dub. So back to the offense. We're doing the reverse of like a compliment sandwich where it's like good, bad, good. We're doing bad. Okay, here's your good. Now it's back to the bad.
Can't talk about any of the good, like, without just don't. I mean, because it's just like Pete Thomas used to tell me: if we pat you on the ass and you shit in our hand, we pat on the ass and they took a big turd in our hand. That's for sure.
So, obviously, the popular conversation topic after this game, Miller Moss. When he was good, he was fine. I think I had one throw where it was like, okay, that's a good throw. And it was the 3rd and 20 after he scrambled backwards and took a terrible sack.
Yeah, I got it.
And because of that, and I mean, you see it a lot in the Pink Seats party deck, like you're starting to get a lot of doubt within the fan base, like talking about the boos getting loud on not just the Moss interception, but the dropped interception out of our own end zone. I assume we're going to talk about that.
He should have had another interception the first drive. We threw the 15-yard out route from hash to hash that we should never be throwing with this quarterback. And it looked like a McDonald's arch.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. And look, we're not going to dive into this conversation. I don't think it's going to happen, but you're starting to get folks in the fan base starting to clamor for that backup quarterback. And that noise is only going to get louder throughout the course of the bye week until someone shoots it down. I'm honestly surprised no one directly asked Coach about it after the game. Probably a good measure of self-preservation on their part not to, but it's going to be a burning question. Now, personally, like, I get it. You want to bring it, like, if you do want to make a swap, do it in a bye week so you get extra week. Are you seeing the D-line we're going up against in the next game? Let's wait a game. Let's wait at least one game. Let's not send a kid out there just to get murdered.
Yeah, send Jordan Travis out to save his first Alabama vibes right there. And the kid just gets killed for 4 quarters straight, man.
Yeah, so while the bye week is unfortunate timing, I don't think this is going to be the week to make a move if the staff even wants to make a move. And I think the most frustrating thing is the whole point of getting these 5th or 6th year quarterbacks is because you want to avoid the dumb freshman, what the fuck was that throws. And
yeah, like the ones where you're getting sacked and you decide to throw the ball out into the middle of like 6 defenders. And I mean, so, like, what are we doing, man?
And now this is the second one out of the 3 quarterbacks we've gotten out of the portal at Louisville under the Brom tenure that make those just mind-bendingly bad decisions at times. Like, I catch myself, look, we've dragged a certain someone's name through the mud quite a bit on this program. And like, man, grass ain't always greener, man.
That's true.
Like, at least he was 6'4" and had a slightly bigger arm, man. Like,
slightly bigger arm and 6'4", but I mean, we ain't winning that game with Jack at quarterback either. That's how bad the offensive line is, man. How many
Yeah.
I mean, how many rushing yards did Isaac Brown have on the game?
I mean, as a team, well, it's unfair because it's counting. You know what? It's factoring in the sack yards, and I think that's fair evaluation of the O-line as well. We had 54 rushing yards as a team.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Isaac had 66 on 13 carries.
That's my point. Like your Heisman back is getting 60 yards. That's
and
that would piss me off if I'm a starting offensive lineman. I'd be like, you pride yourself as an offensive lineman on imposing your will on another human being. And I have a clip in here where a guard is getting sat right into Miller Moss's lap off a bull rush. Like,
oh man. Yeah. There were a couple of pretty tough ones. Like there was one where, guy got put on his ass in the end zone, like when you cannot fuck up. And that's sort of where we're going to shift the conversation. Because I think we can all say Miller Moss hasn't been great. It's tough to be great when your team is completely one-dimensional. And that's what we've become. We haven't been able to generate a push in the run game against any opponent that has even a slight physical comparison to us in the trenches. So I'm not going to completely excuse how he's played, but it's certainly not making it any easier on the kid.
Yeah, I mean, you see what happens when we have, just looking at apples to apples, Jack and Miller, you look at those two, look at the difference between those two teams. It was the offensive line. We won 10 games with that football team.
Yeah. Yeah, because we had a really good offensive line that year, and it's amazing what a difference in the trenches can make. It wasn't all doom and gloom on the offensive side. I thought the tight ends and the wide receivers were okay to good. Chris Bell had a hell of a day. Another stupid penalty. But, he caught for $170, man.
He's like the little brother that I wish I didn't have, but I'm also I love him so much, but you're like, why? Why do you keep doing stupid shit?
The thing that drives me crazy is if you watch, I caught it in my rewatch, he almost did it again. Like he pulls up and he has his arms like this, but then he just doesn't do the ga motion. And I was just like, on the rewatch, I'm like, are you insane?
Was that the one where he did he ended up doing the flow or whatever?
I don't think he shifted it. I think he just went. I think he might have shifted it to like a wrist flick first down. Oh, but man, that was one where he caught for $170. I'm not gonna rip Chris Bell, but oh my God, let's just don't brandish a firearm when celebrating, please.
Yeah, that's instant flag, bro. And it's like you can't. Your justification after. Whatever you have to say to the media is never gonna sound well, no matter what you say. So just better not to do it.
Yeah. So that was the only critique I had of Chris Bell. The kid was going out making some grown ass man plays. Miller Moss fell in love with that back shoulder throw. And I think Bell caught 3 or 4 of them just eating out there. They couldn't cover him. I don't know why we went away from it for so long in the second half. I know Virginia had one long drive in I can't remember if it was the second or third quarter where they really just leaned on us. And then I still think it ended up resulting in a field goal or a punt. But, frustrating game. Running backs are apparently made of porcelain, which sucks. It really sucks because we've seen what Isaac, Duke, even Keywan can do when they're healthy, and all of them are banged up. So maybe coming out of the bye week, if they can come back and get right, maybe they don't need as good of run blocking for them to break something off. But what drives me nuts is he hasn't shown up on any of the injury reports, or if he has, I've completely missed it. Where's Braxton Jennings?
Isaac was on the last injury report. He was listed as one of the questionable or probable people.
Oh no, I know Isaac, Duke, and Keywan were on the injury reports. Braxton Jennings. Braxton wasn't.
I got you.
Where's he? That kid. Look, unless he was running damn well. If
Duke and Isaac or Keywan are available, I'm giving one of them the rock more than I am. If they're 75, 80%, I'm giving them the rock more than I'm giving Braxton. No offense to Braxton. He's just young and little right now.
Well, I guess that's just like, that's sort of the point where I'm going to kind of push back. Like, we're not getting the home run plays while Duke and Isaac are 75, 80%. Let's get Braxton in there while he's healthy and let him bang between the tackles. Like, he at least runs hard. I don't think that's my thing.
Is there won't be much banging. He weighs like 190, if that.
The kid runs violent. The kid runs violent, and I think
violent against the twos violence against Bowling Green's twos looks a lot different than violent against Virginia's ones. I will tell you that.
Man, have you seen Virginia's defense? I don't know about that.
There are threes at Virginia that would be starting at Bowling Green. Yes, I'm 100% positive of that.
But maybe it's just where I like to prioritize, like, hey, if you can't go 100%, we're going to get someone who can. But I thought he looked good enough to at least warrant a try. All right. The part that I really, like, it's really going to test positive Keith. Let's talk about the O-line. Because, man, we've talked about it a little bit. The run blocking just as a unit. Bad. Inconsistent. Like, because again, there was like that stretch in the third quarter where we were actually getting push off the ball and it's establishing our will, and it led to a super easy drive where we just rocket down the field for a score. But
if you just take a second, if you're the linebackers, if I'm an opposing team's linebackers, I'm saying, okay, all I have to do is stay patient for a second and let one of these offensive linemen work to their double team, and as soon as their head's turned, I'm going, because they're not coming off of that block and they're not going to make the block at all. They're not turning their head. They're not doing anything. And you're just going to get a TFL every single time. Just stay patient, sit, wait for them to attach to the double. Their head's not going to turn back, and you got yourself a TFL. It's that. I mean, it's bad.
That's the most frustrating thing with this offensive line is, like, I don't think they are small and weak individuals. It's just whatever's going on up here just ain't clicking. You see guys who aren't using their eyes at all on the line of scrimmage. And like you say, you get like that double team and then you just lock on. You don't look to the second level.
Well, it's
you don't
like
try to.
What's going on in a guy like Pete's head whenever he's doing that is I have to help here. I have to help here because there's going to be pressure coming right there from that offensive lineman not doing his job. But what he's doing is overcompensating there and leaving a huge ass gap right behind him. That's happening a lot around there. And it's like, y'all are just shooting yourselves in the foot. Just do your job.
Yeah. And it's not just obvious to the Louisville fan base. Pro Football Focus, the tandem of Miller, Musa, and Church were the second, third, and fourth lowest graded players by PFF on the entire team, not just the offense, the entire team. It was
it's the
suboptimal
for me, Keith. It's the effort. The effort is the most noticeable thing that you can watch. And it just takes a second. Just whenever you're watching these games back as a fan or as you're watching at the stadium, just watch for an extra second on how these guys are reacting after one of these negative plays, and that'll tell you just about everything you need to know about the guy.
Oh, I assume we will have some, because we were talking about it in the group chat. I assume we will have some on the game notes segment. But this, God, it's the type of game where, like, you go, you do your film study, and then you just have to burn the tape and move on.